My name is Germana Ravanelli. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, a mind-body healer, a personal trainer, a nutritional therapist. I was taught that health is harmonizing the body, the mind, and the spirit. Hello, my name is Germana Ravanelli. I come to you from Nanaimo, BC. I am a multifaceted helper healer. I am a personal trainer, a hypnotherapist, a nutritional therapist, and I teach people basically how to prevent suffering and reduce the suffering of being a human being. This video series are about anti-aging secrets for people 40 and beyond, and you can adopt these when you're younger as well and when you're older as well. Many people kind of end up with these ideas that we lose our value as we get older. You can't stop it, you can't have any impact on that, which is absolutely, they're myths. So the things that I'm going to share with you today are how to really create and build your own fountain of youth. One of the most important things to understand as we age is that these little habits can actually give you 20 better years as you move into, from 40 to 50, 50 to 60, and you really see it from the 50 to 60 and the 60 to 70 timelines. Most of us think, oh my God, I'm going to be hunched over and all of that. And that's just simply not true today. And with these, these technologies that we have, the internet, there's so much information. And my intention is to give tools that I have seen work beautifully for me and my clients and can actually help you live a better life. And I think that's what it's all about. The number one secret is strength training. And a lot of people don't understand the significance of strength training. When we do strength training and we challenge the tissue and we actually make it weaker, then the body goes, oh, I need this tissue. Oh, I'm going to repair this tissue. And so strength training will keep your physical muscle on your body for decades longer. If you do not do strength training, what happens is there's an old story. If you don't use it, you lose it. Your body goes, we don't need this tissue. If you do a fair amount of dieting and a lot of cardio, your body will consume your muscle and you might get thinner, but you'll actually become fatter. If you look at 5 pounds of muscle and 5 pounds of fat, the 5 pounds of muscle is like very small. 5 pounds of fat, you can put 4 pounds of fat in a 4-liter jug of milk. That's a huge difference. So strength training tells your body, I need this tissue, I'm going to keep this tissue, and it actually gives you nice shape. It allows you to move better. It allows you to prevent injury. It also allows you to be resilient. If you get sick, your body will heal quicker. There's something called sarcopenia that does happen as we age, and sarcopenia is, it's called the frail trail. We lose our bone and our muscle and our connective tissue, and you'll see people that are quite, they're older and they're really frail and they kind of end up looking like a candle. And eventually, I call it the sandcastle effect. Eventually they start to decline and then they get wiped out. They usually fall. And they break a hip, they break a pelvis, they get a concussion, and their ability to recover is diminished because their body is not in this repair and renew state. When you do a lot of strength training, and 2 to 3 times a week is all that you need, 30 to 40 minutes will absolutely stop the aging clock significantly for you. When you get into that repair and renew state, then your body does that normally, and it actually keeps you physiologically healthier, fitter, younger, provided you're getting enough sleep and enough of the good nutrients. So we want to keep that lean muscle mass. It is the organ of longevity, and I think that is the number one most potent thing that anybody can do. And that's not super ridiculously over the top training. That's training where you're doing 8 to 10 reps to 12 reps and you're tired. And then you stop, and then you do a different muscle group, and then you go back and forth, and you do like 3 to 4 sets. And you want to hit your big muscles, your legs, your back, your tummy, your shoulders. your chest. But if you do a lot of sitting work and you're like this a lot, you don't do chest training, you do the back training to bring the body back into neutral, and you train your legs independently of one another. So you do one leg 10 reps, one leg 10 reps, so that you balance out how stable and functional they are. A lot of people get on the machines and they're doing both legs all the time, and what happens is your weaker leg will stay weaker if you do that, versus if you split it and you do like a one-legged lunge. And I like using the corner of a room for the back and the hips, so they have that guide. So strength training is the number one secret, and I'm sharing that with you. And again, what comes with that, obviously, is we have to fuel our body to recover. So protein is, they're amino acids, and your body is trillions and trillions of cells. So we break down and renew our cell tissue in significant, I don't even know how many trillions of cells a day. But if you're breaking down your tissue with strength training, or even thinking and stress and not getting enough sleep and all of that, you need to flood your system in amino acids, meaning protein. And protein ideally comes from an animal. There's lots of different ways you can do it. I stay away from the vegetarian vegan model. I did it years ago, and I got really overweight, and I ended up with a binging eating disorder because I was exercising, but my body wasn't using the carbohydrates that I was bringing in, the beans and rice model, for protein. It was using it as sugar, and I just got really overweight, and I learned the hard way that that was not good for me. I've met a few people that do really well with a vegetarian model. I'm not one of them, and you have to learn from your own body. So ideally, you're doing 1 gram of protein per pound of body mass that you want to keep. So if you want to have 140 pounds on the scale, then you want 140 grams a day of protein. And you want to look at that formula. You can look that up online. There's so many different ways to do it. But what I would suggest is that you definitely have protein in your morning meal. I'll do like a cup of egg whites, 1 egg. I'll cook them. I'll roll them up in a burrito thing and eat that. And that's fabulous. And you want that protein rich meal to stabilize your blood sugar, so you're not doing the crash. So you're eating protein that usually will keep you satisfied for 3 to 4 hours. And then you're looking at what's next. Something behind that could be, a cup of organic yogurt with 2 scoops of protein powder with some berries. Yeah, that works. And it's easy and it's not expensive, and you can bring it with you to work. The obvious ones are, chicken and steak and seafood and all of that. Another way to make sure that you're getting enough nutrients is, I'm sorry, 40 almonds as a snack with an apple. There's no protein there to really speak of, but that, again, those are real foods. So what you put in determines how your body will heal or not heal. And your protein is your number one ingredient for repairing your cell tissue. And if you don't repair it, your body will consume it. And like I said, the scale might say you weigh less, but you may have lost half of your muscle, and your muscle is the organ of longevity. Without your muscle, you are frail, weak, falling, tripping, getting sick, all of that. And particularly as we age, we lose our hormone output. And when you strength train, you train your body to release its own natural growth hormone through the stress of that strength training, and then the nutrients of amino acids, which are also protein. So that is so important. And after 40, our hormones, usually even before that, start to go down, because nature has designed the hormones to make us procreate. So we have babies, so more people are here. And usually in the late 30s, women start to struggle. They have weight gain, they have emotional issues, they're fatigued. They're doing all of these stimulants or whatever to try to keep their body running. And I'm not going to say that that's fun, and I'm not going to say that that's, it's part of our life experience. It happens to men too, so we all get beat up with it. And what I would recommend, and I'm not a doctor, but I am someone who has done a lot of things that have really worked, is I went to a naturopath and I got bioidentical hormones, and I really didn't care how much money it cost me, because the quality of my life matters way more to me than a few $100. And my health is how I earn my living. So If you're a woman and you're having hot flashes, or you're fatigued, or you've got abdominal fat, or you're stuck just not feeling well, not sleeping well, cranky, and if you have medical coverage, go to a naturopath. If you don't and you can afford it, go to a naturopath, ask to have your hormones tested, and that is worth everything. I started that, I think, in my late 40s, and I'm a lot older than that, and I think that what had happened for me was I actually started to feel sane. I could think straight, I could relax, and I could sleep, and I also was able to manage my emotions. Because hormones are signaling molecules. They tell your body to do something. And when they're not there, we actually start to die. Biochemically, the brain, when we lose estrogen, parts of the brain atrophy, which means it shrinks. And once that happens, you don't get that back. It's gone. And then what most people's bodies do, and this is nature trying to protect us, gains a lot of fat. And then the body will use those fat cells as little factories to create more hormones. So you can either put them in through a cream. They have pellets now all over the world. I don't know about those. I don't know if people do that here in Canada. I know they do them internationally. Or you can do creams and pills, and they do work. And then the next anti-aging elixir is sleep. And again, I think this one is where a lot of people suffer. I have discovered that when I sleep well and I get enough rest, I'm wonderful. And if I don't, I'm cranky and I can't think straight, and my mind then gets in the way of the quality of my life. So the mind is a beautiful piece of equipment that we have, and we are not our mind and we are not our thoughts. But if we're rested and we're calm, then obviously we're going to have a better quality of life. The mind, when it thinks too much because there's fear or stress, will use a tremendous amount of energy, and that creates exhaustion, and that creates depression, and that creates fights and lots of unnecessary crisis and conflict. I'm going to leave this at this point in the video, and I'm going to make 2 more. So this video, in a nutshell, strength training is critical. It is the deal breaker. If you really want to look like you're 30 when you hit 45 or 50, you will do strength training. You will do less cardio, you will do more strength training. You will eat more protein. And if you're struggling with your hormones, you will invest in the quality of your future by getting bioidenticals. If you have that in your budget, it is worth it, and you will sleep. Some people need less. I need sometimes 8 to 9 hours, and if I don't get that, I'm destroyed. So we're all different. If you have any questions and you have something to report, what's changed for you, please feel invited to reach out to me. Coming to you from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. Please like, share, and subscribe.